Sony started digital note-taking on e-ink devices way back when with the Sony DPT S1. Since then, they've made 2 additional devices, and a lot of other manufacturers have followed suit. Back in 2018, the Boy You Like Book Max really kicked things off into overdrive, and since then a lot of devices have been employing digital note-taking on or off of e-ink. And that's why today we're going to show you our top 5 picks of the best digital note-taking devices of 2020. Let's go. Coming in at number 5 is the Sony DPT line of devices. This includes the CP1 and the RP1. They have 10.3s and 13.3s, so any kind of paper you really want to write on, these guys can do it. They have a severe lack of functionality when it comes to different formats, as they only run PDFs, but what they make up for is their amazing stylus and the note-taking feel. There is no better writing feel on digital note-taking devices than the DPT line. That's because they have a proprietary stylus with a perfect graphite tips. Yes, the tips wear down pretty quickly, but what that gives you is actually a very paper-like feel. Although it lacks a lot in usability, and it's actually even impossible to connect to a Wi-Fi if you go to McDonald's or Starbucks, it does make up for in making it feel like you're really taking notes on a piece of paper. That and the Sony brand behind it brings this in at number 5 on our top 5 list. Coming in at number 4, the Supernote by Ratah A5 and A6. These 2 devices did something that no one else has ever done. They put a rubber, thin, low-profile screen protector over the entire device and put a plastic nib on a very well-weighted metal pen. Why they did this is to actually prevent the nibs from wearing down, but at the same time not sacrificing any writing feel. The writing feel on this is phenomenal, with the perfect amount of resistance, the perfect amount of torque, gives you a very realistic feel, but the nibs don't wear down like the Remarkable and the Sony devices do because they are made of plastic. The pens are their pride and joy when it comes to the heart of metal and the stock pen that gets included in the device. All of their pens are metal pens, and they actually have a ink-like refill canister that you can replace yourself. The Supernote can run a few more formats than the Sony can, but overall it does lack a lot of functionality compared to the other ones on this list, and because of that it's number 4. Coming in at number 3 is the iPad Pro 12.9 with Apple Pencil version 2. If that's not complicated enough, this is the only one that isn't e-ink on this list. But that doesn't mean it's not a good digital note-taking device. You can shoot video, 4K video editing on the go, a 10-hour all-day battery, it weighs less than a pound, the Apple Pencil is fantastic, it gives you a good writing feel as well as a lot of ability to do customizable work wherever you go. It's got ultra-low reflectivity, it's got 120 Hz Pro Motion. This thing is an absolute beast, and it's quicker, faster, and more capable than a lot of 2-in-1 tablets and laptops even, and it's a digital note-taking device as well, so we felt that having this in the studio, using it a lot, comparing it against a lot of other devices that we've used day to day, the particular setup of it being the 12.9 inch with the Apple Pencil version 2 makes it a top contender and a regular go-to of ours for our digital note-taking needs. Yes, I know it's not an e-ink device, but it's an amazing device in and of itself, and it falls right into the category of devices that employ Wacom and other stylus technology like the Sony, the line of Onyx devices, Supernote, etc. Coming in at number 2 is the Onyx Books Max 3, and the reason this is number 2 is because of the sheer specs it has. E-ink Mobius 13.3 inch touchscreen, 2200 by 1650 resolution, octa-core 2 GHz processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes onboard storage. It's got speakers, it's got a headphone jack, it's got HDMI. It's absolutely packed. Not only that, it's running Android 9 with a 4300 milliamp battery. The Max 3 can also be used as a secondary monitor using nothing but its onboard battery as the power for it. This device, for at least Goody readers, showed us that these are no longer e-readers so much as they are tablets with e-ink screens on them. The Max 3 by Onyx holds its own even against tablets in its own price range. An honorable mention before we get to number 1 is the Onyx Boox Nova 2. The reason why this isn't included on our list is because it was just a little too small, didn't have a lot of screen real estate. You can't even display full-size pieces of paper on it because everything just gets scaled down to its 7.8-inch body. As well as that, it's just not up to note-taking quality when it comes to the feel of the device because it is running a glass screen, it is running a plastic nib. The whole thing just feels like you're writing on a piece of glass because you effectively are. But in and of itself, in its own category, it is pretty spectacular. It's a good compact package, it's not too expensive, and it is the first device released by a major e-reader manufacturer in 2020. Number 1 is the Remarkable 2. This is the second generation of devices by Remarkable, although they've only ever had 2 devices, but the first one is a little long in the tooth, a little bit played out. This one really takes the cake, being the thinnest and lightest on this list, as well as the newest, as well as having the most functionality and customization when it comes to note-taking, makes this thing a portable e-ink Photoshop machine. You can think of it. Layers, perfect writing feel, a lot of customizable options, a very good pen. Still no glow light on the Remarkable devices, but we can't cut them short just because of that. This thing's really taking the cake, and this is why it comes in at number 1 on our top 5 list. Do you guys agree with our top 5 list? If you don't, if you do, leave some comments down below and maybe weigh in on which ones you think are the best for top 5 digital note-taking devices, e-ink or otherwise. For a top 5 list, goodereader.com, this is Peter.